Hello. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, my dear students. Hope you're doing fine, inshallah. Today we'll be learning about MS Excel. I'm sure many of you might be aware about it. It's a very common software found in MS Office suite. So today I'll be making you learn a few exercises on Excel, which are related to the medical science students. So today is the first exercise where we'll be working over the blood pressure of a patient. I'm sure most of you know about it. In fact, all of you might be knowing about it. What do you call it in Arabic? You call it daghad al-dam. So you will be recording the blood pressure reading for a patient for a good 15 days, once a day. And then you are going to find out whether a patient has got a problem in his blood pressure or not. So let's kickstart the proceedings straight away. I'll just start off this presentation. Okay, so this is our exercise that we will be recording the blood pressure for a patient and finding the average reading. And we are going to show the reading in a chart through Excel. So to begin with, you should know what a typical blood pressure reading is. If you see two numbers out here, we can see many numbers, but the two bigger numbers are the higher number is called systolic and the lower number is called diastolic. These two numbers are related to the blood pressure. The third one is about the pulse. It is telling you the number of beats, the number of heartbeats, which is happening in a minute. So these are the few parameters which are normally being seen by an apparatus, BP apparatus. So for this patient, what we can see is that, pardon me, we are not supposed to call someone patient unless and until if it is being concluded for him or her. So for this person, we have got the systolic as 142 and diastolic as 92. Let's have a look at what a systolic and diastolic is. Okay, no, okay, sorry about that. Let's go back again. What a systolic and diastolic is. So the systolic is the bigger number. The top number refers to the amount of pressure in your arteries during the contraction of your heart muscle. And diastolic is, it refers to your blood pressure when your heart muscle is between the beats. So enough of theoretical knowledge. This is just for the sake of your theory. We need not bother much about it. The only thing what we should know is that the bigger number is systolic and the smaller number is diastolic. Okay, let's have a look at the blood pressure chart, which we'll be using up to refer and conclude whether a person has got an issue in his blood pressure or not. So these are the readings. The bigger number, if it is less than 90, less than 60, we'll call it a person with hypotension, low blood pressure. And the normal range, the green range, is from 90 to 120, the bigger number, and smaller number, it has to be from 60 to 80. Similarly, we have got a pre-hypertension and then hypertension. So we'll get to this thing once we get our conclusions out there. Now, let's see what is the exercise. What is the typical textual form which you'll be getting in your practical exams, and which you should be able to do. Record and tabulate the BP readings for a patient for 15 days in a spreadsheet software MS Excel, and then find the average blood pressure reading. So, and once you get the average blood pressure reading, you have to conclude it as well. So conclude whether conclude the status of the patient. Well, what we can do over here is that we'll add up one more line out here, and you represent your findings in chart as well. So just a second, I'll just add one more line. Conclude the blood pressure status of the okay. Okay. So enough of presentation stuff right now. Let's try to dive into the pool of Excel now. Let's have a practical feel of this thing because this subject is practical oriented. So you need to have a practical knowledge of this thing. So in order to begin with, you should have an MS Office installed in your system because MS Excel is one of the components of Office. If you see the first look, you'll get an impression as if it's like a very big table, a big jadwal. Let's open up the software now. Let's go to the software. This is the preview of the software. This is the typical icon of the Excel file. Okay. Now, let's start off our document by giving a good heading. So I'll just write it down, BP readings. And I'll increase the font for this thing. This will be somewhere around, okay, 36. Let's put in the name of the person. For example, the name of the person is let's give it a name like John. So we have got a patient whose name is John. Now we'll be putting up 4 columns out here. The first column will be the numbers, the serial number, if you can call it serial number, or you can write down as number. The second one will be the date, and the third one is going to be systolic, the bigger numbers, and the fourth one will be diastolic. That's it. We'll be having 4 columns in our jadwal. Now, as what we saw in the exercise over there was that we need to find out the BP readings for a patient for 15 days. Okay. So in order to get it for 15 days, let's put in the numbering out here. There are 2 ways of doing the numbering. One way is to manually put the number like this. Okay. This is kind of acceptable when you've got a lesser amount of numbers. Okay. I'll show you another way, which is more interesting one. I'll show it to you. See, so I'll just put in 1 in the first one, and now I'll be generating the remaining numbers up to 15 automatically. How can I do that? Let's try to come to the corner of this thing. This is, we call this thing as a cell. Let's come to the corner of this cell. As we come to the corner of this cell, we can see the icon of the mouse is changing to a smaller plus sign. Then drag it down like this. No, it's not working. Okay, forget about it. It's not working. So that move did not work out. I'll tell you another way. So once we get 1 out here, come to the next one. The next one. I need 2 over here. So what I'm supposed to do over here is I'll put an equal to sign. Okay, equal to sign from the keyboard, and then I'll be selecting the cell of 1 with my mouse. So as soon as I selected this cell, which was containing 1, I saw the address of that cell. See, every cell out here has got an address. Nothing to bother about it. Just click on that and then write down +1. That's it. Once you do that and then press on enter, see, I got 2 automatically. I'll repeat the process once again. Okay, I'll put equal to sign. Okay, and then I'll be selecting the address of this one. Then I'll write down +1. Let me show you this thing. Okay, we cannot magnify it right now. Then enter. Once we get that, we got the 2. Once we are getting 2, it will become quite easy for us. Just come to the cell of 2, come to the corner and drag it down like this. See, now we are getting the numbers automatically generated. In fact, we can go up to an extent of infinite, unlimited numbers. See, we can go up to how many numbers we got? 124, isn't it? Anyways, we don't require that much of numbers. So I'll come up to 13 and I'll bring it to 15. So that's how you got the automatic numbers generated. Okay. Now let's come to the date part. For example, you're starting reading up the data from today onwards or any other day. For example, if you want to put in any other day like 12th February 2021, you can write it down like that. Okay. And let's try to put it down. So when I come to the corner of that cell and when I brought it down, I can see the dates changing up. Okay. In my case, let's see, for example, I'm starting off the tabulation from today. So in order to do a date of today, there is a function. The function can be written like is equal to today and افتح قوس سكر قوس. Open up the bracket and close the bracket. If you can have a look at this thing, I'll just write it down somewhere here so that you can get to know about it. Wait, go very close now, and that's better now. That's better. I'll show you again. Is equal to today, and if the course, open up the bracket and close the bracket, and then press enter. We got the date for today. Then I'll be doing the similar thing. I'll come to the corner of this cell. I'll be waiting for the icon to change, and then I'll drag it down with my mouse. Okay. So it's not working, unfortunately. That's strange. Okay. If it is not working like this, we'll try to add up. Is equal to this plus 1. So now we got it. Let's drag it down now. All right, this was a miscellaneous thing. This was an accessory, but this is something which you should know, how to put in the numbers and how to put in the dates. Now let's come up to the main agenda, which is recording the systolic and diastolic readings for a patient. Okay, so for example, what we saw in a picture out there in our PowerPoint presentation, let's take this as the first reading for the patient. What is the first reading? 142 and 92. So I'll put up the reading over here as 142 and then 92. Okay, this is the first reading. Ideally, we'll be assigning you a project where you will be doing it in reality. So maybe your father, your mother, or yourself, or your brother, you'll be recording their blood pressure readings for 15 days or for 15 times. Maybe you can do it twice a day or thrice a day, because we cannot conclude the nature of a patient through one reading. So for example, this was the reading which I took for the patient on the first day, for the person on the first day. Now let's take another reading, and I'll just write down a few lame numbers, any numbers: 135, 145, 154, 165, 145 again, 140, 148, 135, 120, 125, and 115, 128, 129, 148, 158. Okay. Ideally, you're supposed to do it by taking an actual reading from the patient. Now we know it very well. Systolic is something which is more than 100, and diastolic is something which is less than 100 most of the time. So 85, 95, 75, 65, 85, 98, 86, 84, 85, 75, 79, 98, 99, and 96. So we have taken the reading from the patient. Our data is set right now. Up to here, what we have done is we have done a simple typing task, and we have learned how to bring in the numbers automatically and how to bring in the dates. Now comes the main part, where we are supposed to find out the average first, and then we are supposed to conclude what is the status of the patient. So I'll put up one more number, 16. Okay, and I'm not going to put up date over here. I'll write down average. Okay, and then I'll be finding out the average. In order to find the average for a particular series, for example, I need to find the average. What do you call average in Arabic? We call it wasat, mutawassat, isn't it? So I need to find the average of all of these numbers. So all I need to do is that I can go to the file menu, and there is an option called cell formula, and then I'll come to this part, summation part, and I'll press on mutawassat. As soon as I press on mutawassat, I can see it is asking me, is this the series, is the set of numbers for which I need to find the average? I would say yes. In order to say yes, I'll just press on enter from my keyboard. So I got the average reading for systolic. I'll do the same thing for diastolic. So I'll bring my mouse over here and then I'll go back to Sayr, it's already there, Jamaat al-Qai. I'll press on down and I'll select Mutawassat. It's again asking me over here if this is the right series. In case if it is not, I could have selected it with my mouse like that. And then press on enter. So now we got the average readings for the patient. Can we conclude something about it? Let's go back to the PowerPoint presentation and let's see what was the reading out here. It was telling that the reading over there, what we got over there was, sorry about that, yeah, we got 139 and 86, okay? Where is 139 and 86 out here? 139 and 86 is 139, okay, 139 is this one and 86 is out here. So that particular person, Mr. John, is coming under the category of pre-hypertension as per this table, isn't it? So we can write it down over here. Status is pre-hypertension. So in this case, we can warn the person that you are on a pre-hypertension stage. You need to gain control so that you can come back to the normal stage. So we are able to conclude the status of the patient. Now, the only thing remaining is how to prepare a chart for this thing. For that thing, what we are supposed to do is that we can beautify this thing first. In order to beautify this thing, just select from number up to this one, and then you can come to Idraj, insert, and you can look for Jadwal. Just press on that and okay. Now we have got a beautiful tabular form ready. Now I need a chart for that. For again, I'll be selecting all of these columns once again, and I'll go to Idraj, I'll go to Amud, and I'll be selecting this one, the first one out here. See, so now I have got the chart here as well. Let's put up the chart somewhere down. Maybe here. Yeah. Control Z. Yeah, select it right there. That's good. So you can have a look out here straight away that for every number, every date, we have got a reading. The blue ones are systolic and the red ones are the diastolic. I can further add up the data labels. For that, I'll just click on any of those skyscrapers, buildings. I clicked on that and then right click and I'll do add data labels, which is called Idafa Tasmiyat Bayanat. So I got it for the systolic. I'll select the red one now, right click, Idafa Tasmiyat Bayanat. Okay, so we are getting up the data. We can see the readings as well. Okay, we can see the final reading as well for the patient, isn't it? Let's broaden it up a bit. It's too cozy right now. Now it looks better. See. So now we can figure out the numbers. We can have a look at the average data with averages 139. This one is 86. And we can highlight this thing over here as well. The average for the patient is this much. You can highlight it with blue. Okay. So in this way, what we have done is that we have been able to find out the readings for the patient. We noted it down and then we found the average. And finally, we put up a chart for that. And somewhere we had also written that the status of the patient is pre-hypertension. We can just broaden it up a bit. We can make it big, so that everyone knows. We should know that for this particular person, we have been able to conclude that this person has got a precaution, has got a caution of a pre-hypertension situation. So I hope you're able to understand the entire workout which I've done in the past 30 minutes or so. I'll be uploading this thing on YouTube. so that you will be able to understand how we will be doing this thing. And I'll be giving you an assignment as well for the same thing. If you come up over here on our labs, you can do it out here. And in case if you're able to do it at the comfort of your home, you're most welcome to do that. So that's it. Thanks a lot for attending this meeting. We are ending up over here. Any queries, any issues, you can ask me. Bye-bye.